Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the Sticks plus Twine podcast. This is episode 31. Today is Sunday, March 5th, and it is the weekend before Edinburgh Yarn Fest. And we've got a lot to catch up on. It's been a while because I've been traveling so much, and I'm going to keep on traveling, and I'm going to share where I've been and what I've been up to with you, so stay tuned. On this episode, we're going to talk about the Everybody Loves Pi KAL. We're coming to a close. We've got 9 days left. 9 days? 9 days left. We're going to talk about status report. We're going to talk about Knitter's World. We're going to talk about my quick trip to Copenhagen. We're going to talk about the haul, of course. It's a small haul, but there's some good yarns that I picked up there from Denmark. And then maybe one or two more little things. First, I want to say welcome to all the new viewers, and there's a lot of you. Goodness, I'm almost at 7,000 subscribers. I don't know how the heck that happened, but that's where we are. So thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, feel free to just hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate it if you do. It lets me know that you're excited and interested to see what else we're going to come up with in the next little while here at Sticks plus Twine. And so thank you so much for everyone for all your great comments. One of the pieces of haul actually keeps slipping down in the pile there and keeps distracting me. So thank you so much for joining me. I can be found on Ravelry as EP Lutz and Instagram as e.p.lutz, which is EP Lutz again. I am most active on Instagram because that's where I get to share more stuff with you more often. It's just a little, quick, easy bites of fun knitting, fun stuff and travel stuff and all that sort of cool thing. So let's talk a little bit to start with, what do we want to start with? Let's talk about the show notes poll first. Thank you to everyone who voted in the poll and who gave some feedback. And there were about 200 people that actually took the poll. And so what I've decided to do is you will find show notes here on YouTube, you will find them on Instagram, and you will continue to find pop-ups. That said, I am not going to make the links live on Ravelry or on YouTube because frankly it's an awful lot of work to go and do that, and you can Google all of those things quite readily and easily. So there you go. So we're going to make it easy on me and accessible for you. So there you go. Good compromise, I think. Okay, moving right along, let's talk about the Everybody Loves Pi KAL. All right, so everybody loves pie, right? Absolutely they do. And I will readily confess that I have been obsessed with another project and I have not been working on mine. I'm about, let's call it halfway through. And I will get to it. It's just in a little bit of a timeout while I work on something else that I'm obsessed with, which I will share with you. Thank you to everyone who's participating. There's a number of finished objects already. Just to recap, in the 9 days left that we have for this particular KAL, there are two prizes. One is a $50 gift card to anywhere that will let me buy a online gift card or gift certificate. And the second prize is a $25 of the same thing. So you get to choose. I will be drawing the winners after the close, which will be on March 14th. I will be back from Edinburgh at that point, and we're going to call that one a close. But you might want to stay tuned to the end because we might have news about a new one coming up. Just saying. And moving right along to status report, let's first start with beverages. This is a cup of Yorkshire tea that I love Yorkshire tea. If I just want a good basic, milk and sweet tea, then that's my go-to. I do love a good strong cuppa. So that's what I'm having today. And that's, I guess, kind of a bit of a segue, as lame as it might be, into status report. So let's start talking about what am I working on. First, I've just got a bunch of bags here and stuff, and I'm just going to talk about them in order as they come through here. The first one that I'm going to share with you is and it's a bit of a tangled mess, vanilla sock. This is Scrumptious Purl. Ta-da! I am down to the toe of the first one. These technically could be my March socks, I guess. They are the furthest along of all of the sock projects that I have on the needles. But I have gone a little too far in the foot, so I might have to rip back maybe a color block or so so I can go back and start the toes. I love this yarn. This was a gift from the lovely ladies at Espace Tricot, and I love this yarn. It feels really, really nice, and the colorway is Au Naturel. Loving, loving, loving. It is living in a bag that I don't think I've talked about before, that I picked up at February? I think it was the February Knitters Guild meeting here in Toronto. This is a J. Hendry Designs bag, and this is sort of my cruise wear bag. I'm going to show you a little bit more close up. This fabric's amazing. Made me feel really, really cool to say, yep, I'm going to take that when I go on my cruise. I am going on a cruise from Dubai to Venice at the end of March. We're leaving, and I'll be gone for 3 weeks. So it's going to be a bit of a trek, so I'm going to have to make sure I bring lots of knitting. This is where socks will live in that. That's project one. Then, let's see what's in this one. In my fringe bag, the yellow one. Oh, this is the Riverbend socks from Mina Philipp. This is from her, I can't remember if this is collection 1 or 2, but this is texture, try to see. It's kind of got this really interesting sort of twist pattern texture, which doesn't come up as much as I would say in a variegated yarn. This is Baerenwolle in the pond colorway in the sock base, and I'm loving this yarn. I find for me doing a twist in it though, I kind of have to pay a bit more attention. It's not like just a vanilla sock where I can just sort of zip through and go round and round, because you're knitting through the backs of stitches and in opposite orders. So that one is living there. I'm just checking my show notes because I don't want to miss anything. And some of these have progress, some of them don't, so I kind of want to go through the quicker stuff so we can get to the fun stuff. And in this bag, this is a new cast on, which I did a short little periscope when I was in Copenhagen at the hotel, and those of you who joined would have seen this. And I don't announce periscopes, I just kind of do them when I feel like it. But this short little piece actually is a bit deceptive because it is actually an awful lot of knitting. It is linen stitch. So linen stitch is of course created by slipping every other stitch on opposite rows. So you're sort of knitting half a row each time. This is in Woolfolk. This is the Tynd base that I picked up. I'm trying not to drop this end in my tea. There we go. In the Tynd base, and I'm really, really loving the texture and the color. Feels really awesome. What's the pattern, you might ask? Well, this is the Stalactite scarf pattern by Nathan Taylor, and it appears in the first issue of Rib magazine. So I've always thought this was an interesting pattern in linen stitch. It's very long, fingering weight, and I'm really actually quite enjoying it. It's got this really interesting little, these details of just little stockinette vertical details that come up, and there's another little one that's happening over here that's starting. You'll notice Mickey Mouse is there. Mickey Mouse ears. This is a Progress Keeper that I picked up. That's actually just a charm, but it's a Progress Keeper I picked up when I was in Disney. It's not really been getting much love, as have none of my other projects, because I cast on something else that I'm super obsessed with. I'm so excited to be working on, and I'm going to share that with you now. I just have to move a few things out of the way. Bear with me. And I will show you, because I wanted to sort of talk about this one. This is the back started of the Radmere cardigan by Michele Wang for Brooklyn Tweed. This is in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the tent colorway, which can I tell you, I love this. And you can't see me. I absolutely love this pattern. I love working on it. I love all the cables. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed. I can't stop working on it. As of last Saturday, I had some friends over for a bit of a knit night on Saturday night, and I was only to about here. So in a week, I've sort of zipped up here. I've got about another 2 inches to go before I start shaping for the armholes. which I'm kind of excited to get to because although it's not a very huge piece, well, for a lady's sweater, this would be a huge piece, but for men's sweater, this is actually pretty common. But I'm looking forward to getting through this even more so I can this is the biggest piece, obviously, for a cardigan. Then the fronts are done and the sleeves are done separately. And I'm in love with it. It feels great. The gauge is really good. The cables are great. I did make one kind of boo-boo on, there's a braid that I messed up one of the twists on last week, but I went on YouTube and I went, how do you fix a cable when it's still live on the needles? And so I just pulled it out, ripped it down, re-knit it back up, and it's somewhere down here and you can't even tell. So yay, project, achievement unlocked. Anyway, it was a lot of yarn to buy. That's what's sitting in this guy here in my fringe porter bin. And I honestly, I don't tend to gush that much about stuff, but this one I've got to gush about. I'm absolutely in love with this project. So I'm going to put this away because I want to show you something else about it. Stay there. So those of you who know Michele Wang know that she's an amazing designer and she's an amazing person. And so I sent her a picture and just said, hey, look, yeah, I'm working on it. And then I showed her what I had done with the pattern because there are 8 charts for that back piece. And I couldn't find a way, I needed to find a way that I could sort of focus on making sure that I did all the right pieces in the right order and keep track of what rows I was on. So what I did was, and I got permission to show you this because you won't be able to read the charts and you won't know that it's not really the pattern, but she told me that it was okay to show you this. So I took all of the charts, cut them out, pasted them on a piece of paper, re-photocopied it so that it was not inkjet because this highlighter tape pulls off inkjet ink. And then every time I finish a row, I go in and just move the tape for each of the charts. That way I know exactly what row I'm on, I know what to do, and then I have a stitch counter that I just twist, one of the little cheapy little clover guys or something, so I know. So if I ever lose track, I can do the math. I know what row I'm on, and if the math doesn't compute for one of the charts, then I know that I've done something kind of weird and I go back and figure it out. But that's how I'm keeping track. There are, I know, Knit Companion will do something very similar on the iPad, but I like this because I don't need electricity to do it. I don't need power. If my iPad loses power, I'm not going to be stuck. I can continue working. So anyway, I just thought you might like to see that. And believe it or not, that's all I'm working on, guys. I have some other stuff that is sort of sitting in a bit of a timeout on some stuff, and I could be working more on the pie shawl, which lives in this one. And here it is, just for, reference. It looks like this great big mushroom top thing. And I am still super in love with this, and I will go back to it. And I might have to, once I sort of get through the back of the Radmere, if I sort of feel like, oh, okay, I've had enough with cables for the time being, I'll go back to this guy. I have not put in the lifeline like I said I was going to, and no one held me accountable. So, no, I'm kidding. Don't give me odd comments about being accountable. I'll get to it. I promise I'll get to it. But that's okay. It lives in a very happy little bag right now. So that's it for status report. Let's move to world. So a few things have been on the go and fun in the knitters world since I spoke to you last. I had a friend's birthday yarn crawl that we did here in Toronto. Ended up just going to Unit on Bloor Street, which I love that shop. It's really, really special. It's got a lot of fabric and stuff as well in there if you're a quilter or sewer. And I did not pick up any actual yarn there, but I did pick up some extra cords for my interchangeable set. That's really all I needed at the time. So that was fun. And then last Saturday we had a bit of a knit night here at my place with some of the most fabulous people ever who I love and adore. We had a really good sort of, killed ourselves laughing kind of night. It was a blast. It was great to. I did not actually get any knitting done because the only thing I wanted to work on was that guy right there, and I felt like I need to focus on this more than I can probably get done when I'm socializing and eating and all that sort of fun stuff. So did that, and then the big news is, of course, that I went to Copenhagen, and it was a bit of a short trip. But Copenhagen's a pretty small city, and I got to do all the things that I really wanted to do. And it just turned out, I don't know if you guys have been watching the Abstract series on Netflix. It's a series about designers. There's, I think, 8 episodes, and there's like a set designer, there's a shoe designer, there's an architect, and all this sort of. It's an amazing series. But the architecture episode was sort of a profile of Bjarke Ingels, who is a prominent architect in Copenhagen. And he designed some amazing, amazing structures. And so I spent some time going to see some of those, which I was incredibly inspired by. I got to have some good food. And then I also got to meet up with a couple of viewers. Michele and his wife, Tina, came to meet me and I'm going to just preface this. I do not speak Danish. I have no clue how to pronounce things in Danish. So I'm not looking for advice or help. I'm just saying, forgive me when I pronounce things incorrectly. But we went to Sommerfuglen, which is the one of the yarn shops that have been recommended to me. And I did pick up a few things there, which I will show you in the haul. But it's an awesome little shop. I actually went in twice. I went in the first day and then I popped back in to go and see if they had something else that I was looking for that I'd forgotten about. And it was great. It's a great shop, and it was amazing to see how much knitting is respected and is a real thing. It's a real thing in Denmark, from what I could see anyway in Copenhagen. A lot of on the street look like hand knit stuff, which was awesome to see. So that was Copenhagen. It's a beautiful city. It was gorgeous. The hotel was lovely. Got a room right on the canal, which was nice to sort of sit and knit in when I was sort of a bit jet lagged and trying to get myself together. Would I go back? Absolutely. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a gorgeous city. The architecture is stunning. I always love the water. I love the boats. I love all that sort of stuff. So if you get a chance to go to Copenhagen, I highly recommend it. And it's a bit pricey, I'm not going to lie, but it was totally worth every minute of it. So that was Copenhagen. And now the next big thing is, of course, I am leaving on Wednesday and flying to the UK. I will be going to Edinburgh Yarn Fest, which I'm excited about. I'm curious about. I know that I'm going to get to see some great friends that I don't get to see very often, including Kristen from Woolenvine is going to be there, and Katie from Inside Number 23, and Nathan from the Sockmatician podcast, and Shamika from Mika Shop is going to be there. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. I'm hoping to get to meet some people that I don't get to, that I haven't been able to meet before. And there's a podcaster lounge that's going to be there. I will be there at some point. I know there's a meetup happening, and so I will sort of just be part of the crowd in that. So what else is news about that? I did get my copy of Wool Tribe, which is their publication, sort of companion magazine to it. I ordered that ages ago, so I'm so glad. There's some actually really good patterns in here. The one that I really liked, that I actually might... Let me see if I can find a good picture of it. Ah, there we go. The Sunwick Cal. Really like that one. It's really cool. And you know what? I need to get back into doing color work. And I've got so much yarn to do color work, and you'll see more in the haul. But I just really have to get back into it. But like I said, I'm obsessed with that guy. So I'll get to it when I get to it, I guess. But what I love too on the back, look at those mitts. Those are really awesome. Love. If I get to meet Isolde when I'm there, that will be, mission complete for me. I think she's amazing, and I can't wait to see if I get to meet her. Anyway, that's pretty much it, I think, for Knitter's World. Let's talk about the haul. First, let's talk about the Brooklyn Tweed that I ordered for the Radmere. This is what it looks like, obviously, when it's been caked up. And this is the tent colorway. I'm hoping that eventually, maybe it won't. Not gonna focus. That's what happens when you try and film on an iPhone. Just saying. Anyway, I was unsure what color I wanted to do this in. The sample in the picture that I showed earlier is going to, that I think is Hjelholt, which I would normally gravitate towards because I love that sort of gold tweed. But I wanted something maybe a little bit different. I have actually I have quite a few sweaters quantities that are in differing shades of yellows and greens and chartreuse, but I really wanted something like this. This reminds me of truly the tent, sort of the sort of cotton canvas army kind of tent green that I first started when I went camping with my dad. When we first started going camping when I was a kid, reminds me so much of that color. And I think part of the pattern is amazing, but this colorway is so nostalgic for me, and I think colors have a great way of evoking nostalgia. That's why, you know, we gravitate towards, you know, yarns with cool names. That's why, you know, sock clubs and, you know, that sort of stuff with, you know, inspirations from popular culture. It's why we like that sort of stuff. But for me, this one just speaks to it. How did I pick the color? I went back through the shade cards that I'd ordered from Brooklyn Tweed ages ago, and went through and thought about the different colors that I liked, so I could see them in real life, not just sort of on a computer screen. And I really, really think that that's, if you are into a particular yarn brand that you like, it's something you should probably invest in, or you may want to invest in, or borrow from a friend if they have one, because it really does help visualize what it's going to look like. So I have a couple of these still caked up. This entire porter bin is full of skeins of this, and just looking at it just makes me so happy. And I can't wait to see what the rest of that. I think this will be one of maybe a couple of Rhinebeck sweaters, but for sure this will be done in time for Rhinebeck. So if you see me at Rhinebeck in October, that's the guy I'll be wearing. Anyway, so that's the first one. Then at the birthday yarn crawl for Jackie, one of her friends, who is Marianne, who is the dyer behind Sinister Yarns, gave me this amazing color. I'm going to open this. I haven't opened it up fully to see what it entirely looks like, so you and I shall see for the first time. The name of this is on her Shifty Sock base, which is an 80/20 superwash nylon blend. It is called Mellow Grello. And let's see what it looks like. Ooh, look at that. Oh, isn't that amazing? Look at all those grays and yellows. And I love all the directional arrows on it. That just, to me, says travel, it says compass. It's totally perfect for me. Thank you so much, Marion, for that. I couldn't thank you enough. And it turns out she's actually from, you can go to her Etsy shop. She has one online. She's from actually the same town that my parents live in. So that's kind of cool. And I love her label. Now that it's open, I can sort of show you a little bit more closely. That's her label. And I think it's awesome. This Sinister Yarns, like the whole logo. Love it. I love it. I love it. So that eventually will be a pair of socks. Not sure when. Not going to make any guarantees. But it's awesome. I thank you so much for that. Love it. And I'll put that back to keep it clean in the bag later. Okay, so what else did we get? Well, then we're now to what did I get in Copenhagen? Because I did pick up a few things. You'd be disappointed, as would I, if I'd not picked up some stuff. And so I was working with Annette at Sommerfuglen, who is one of the shop people there. She's actually friends with Michele and Tina, and my wonderful guides who took me to this place called La Glace, which has been there since like 1870 or 1875. Amazing sort of dessert and coffee and stuff, and that's where we sat and we knit, and it was a great time. But I was talking to their friend Annette and said, and of course I need to buy something local. Why wouldn't you? And she recommended a couple of things, and the first one was this one. I'm not going to try and pronounce this because I won't do it justice. Google Translate tells me it's craft yarn, which is great. It is a combination of Falklands Merino and I'm thinking this is Gotland, which is kind of interesting. I've never used one that's quite like this. It's got a little bit of a halo to it. It's a little bit fuzzy. I really, really like the color. Obviously, it's, you know, we're seeing a family resemblance here, I'm sure. And I think I'm going to make this into a hat. It feels like it's sturdy enough to do. I could probably make it into other stuff too, but I feel like I want this to be a hat. And it doesn't have a color number to it. It has a lot number, but it doesn't have a colorway that I can discern. Anyway, that is the label. It has a website in case you're interested in checking it out. Really liking that. That's going to stay in stash for a while because I really want that as a memory yarn. Do you do that? Do you have memory yarns of yarns that you think, yeah, I'm going to use it for something, but I'm just buying it because I want something to remember the trip. You know, it's a souvenir yarn. If you do, let me know. I'd be curious what you use. The last thing that I picked up is actually 5 skeins of yarn, and it's my first time buying Isager yarn. This is in the Highland Wool base, and these are, 50-gram balls. It's 100% wool, and I have 5 colors because I will show you. There's all 5. Ta-da! This is aptly named chocolate, turquoise, denim blue, ice blue, which you can maybe see it a little bit better there. It's got a bit of color variations in it, and sky. And it was funny, we had this whole conversation about the fact that this is kind of like a Copenhagen sky color. It's cloudy, steely, with little pops of blue now and again. So all of these together, I shall hold them all up so you can see again. These I bought with the intention, remember project-specific purchasing, of making the Croft House hat by Ella Gordon, which appeared in the 2016 Shetland Wool Week free pattern. So it's a free pattern online, you can just download it from there, and that's what this is going to be. I have more than enough to do at least one hat, if not maybe 2, or the hat and the matching mitts. But that was the intention there. So, of course, I will have put a picture up here already so you can see what that looks like. But that's what that's going to be. So I'm more or less keeping with my project-specific purchasing. So that's it for the haul this week. Seriously, guys, I spent so much money on that Brooklyn tweed that I kind of felt guilty about buying anything else. Upcoming haul. What am I looking for at Edinburgh? Well, I don't know. I'd like to pick up maybe some John Arbin because it's something that you can't get very easily here. I'm thinking some Fiber Company perhaps. If I'm so lucky to pick up some Isolde's yarn, that would be kind of cool too. I might let myself freewheel this one a little bit and sort of let myself go from the project-specific purchasing. I am not buying a sweater's quantity of anything, that's for sure, because I have more than enough of those. But I'm thinking maybe just a couple of something specials, you know, that I kind of maybe want to hold on to for a little while. So that's it for the haul. Let's come back and talk about 1 or 2 more things. So, 1 or 2 more things. So this is sort of the babble session for a moment. It's been a busy month, yo. It's been really busy. Between work, actual work, like my actual day job, which has been keeping me quite busy. And we're also gearing up for production on issue 2 of Rib Magazine, which is, guys, I am so happy with the way this is turning out. So we've got some great patterns. We're shooting at the end of the month, so we're prepping for the photo shoot. We're in editing at the moment. Issue 3 is underway, and we've got some pretty exciting things planned for issue 3 that I'm really excited about. Plus traveling. You know, it's been kind of busy, and there's a lot more traveling coming. So I know that I will be in Edinburgh, and then I'm home for a weekend. I think my mother-in-law is coming that weekend to visit. And then the weekend after that, we're going to go and do the photo shoot for issue 2. Then I'm home for 2 or 3 days, and then we're leaving on our trip to the Middle East, which I'm really looking forward to in some respects, and I'm a little nervous about in others. not that there, I don't think, we're going on a cruise. It's going to be safe. I'm not worried about safety. I just know it's a long time to be away from home when we're so busy doing a lot of other things. So I should be online quite a bit, but pretty much I'm not going to guarantee, timing on anything. So other than the Pi Shawl gifts will be out and gone before then, because I will be announcing the winners of those on probably the 15th of March. Because I don't want anybody to wait. That's been a long one. And I want to make sure that just, clear the decks, because there's a new KAL coming, and I am going to announce it right here, right now. All right, time for the announcement. The new KAL is going to be a tweed grows in Brooklyn. Yes, so we are going to be doing a Brooklyn tweed knit along. So what does that mean? Any project that is made in Brooklyn tweed yarn or is using a Brooklyn tweed pattern is eligible. We're going to start April 1st and we'll go until the end of May. So because I'm gone for most of April, I figure end of May is a good time frame. So 2 months worth. Whips are going to be permitted. As long as you've got about 50% of the project or more to go from April 1st, it will be totally kosher with me. Use your own judgment though. Like, I'm not going to sit there and gauge based on how much yarn you have. We'll be basing this on the honor system. Because knitters are honest people, and I believe in you and you believe in me and all that fun stuff. So it's a good big circle of love. So what are we going to do? Again, any project that's knit out of Brooklyn tweed that requires at least one skein. You can't be doing like, I'm doing a little micro mini ornament hat. No, that's not cool, guys. We're gonna requires one skein of any Brooklyn tweed yarn or any Brooklyn tweed pattern. To make your entry when you finish in the FO thread, you will just need to put in your the name of the pattern, the designer, and the yarn that you used. If you do a Brooklyn tweed pattern that is also in Brooklyn tweed yarn, that counts for 2 entries. And I'll explain why in a moment, but if you do a Brooklyn tweed pattern by Michele Wang and is done in a Brooklyn tweed yarn, you get 3 entries. So if you make something, say from Capsule, out of Brooklyn tweed yarn, and it's done by, obviously, Michele Wang, guess what? You get 3 entries. So what are we going to be doing for prizes, you're probably wondering? Well, the first prize is a copy of Capsule that Michele Wang will autograph. That's right, she's agreed to do an autograph. So that's prize 1. And we're going to sweeten the deal with a $25 gift certificate to Brooklyn Tweed, so you can continue on the joy. The second prize will be a $25 gift card plus 1 pattern of your choice from Brooklyn Tweed. And the third prize will be any pattern of your choice. Now, when it comes to the pattern prizes, I'm not talking about whole books here. I'm talking about single patterns. So, whether that's if, for instance, in the last, what was it? The winter collection that had the fall collection, sorry, that had men's and women's patterns. They were a little bit more expensive. That's okay. It's still one pattern. So you can use this opportunity for your benefit. What's most exciting, and I'm so happy to be announcing this now, is because next week, I just saw on Instagram, Brooklyn Tweed is announcing a new collection. So there's going to be a whole bunch of new patterns to try and choose from. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be a tweed grows in Brooklyn, and I'm so excited. I've been sort of stress testing the idea with a couple of friends, and they're super excited. I'm going to be obviously still working on the Radmere. I'm not eligible for prizes, so I could be, but what's the point? It's coming out of my pocket anyway. But there you go. So April 1st cast on. If you wanted to cast on now and get started, you're fine. Just leave yourself at least 50% of the project. It will go till May 30th. which I think is a good time. I think it's a good time. There may or may not be spot prizes along the way for participation, or as and when I kind of feel like, let's throw a little prize in the mix. So there will be a thread open for participation, for conversation and chatter, as well as an FO thread that I will open. I won't be opening the FO thread until probably midway through April, because there is no way on a KAL that you start on the 1st that you're going to be done 2 days later. Well, maybe you could, I guess, if you did a hat. Hats qualify. Hats, mitts, they all qualify, but it's all about the Brooklyn Tweed. You might be asking, well, why Brooklyn Tweed? Well, I've really evolved my thinking around the yarn. I've always loved the patterns. I think the patterns are consistently some of the best written, most educational patterns. Yes, they are quite lengthy and they can be quite expensive, but I think that they're really good value, and I always learn something from them, and I'm hoping that you do too. But I also think that the yarns that they're developing are really interesting, and I think that they're a great asset to the community. I think Shelter itself as a yarn, either I have become a much better knitter with more friable yarn, or maybe just I honestly think that there's a better structure to Shelter. I've never used quarry. I think I'm a little afraid to try quarry, to be honest, but a lot of people love it. I love the arbor base. The loft base is also really nice to work with. So I think there's a lot to be said about what Jared Flood and Brooklyn Tweed have done for the industry. And I'm kind of a big, fanboy. I'm in love with it all. So there you go. A tweed grows in Brooklyn. Oh, I forgot. There's one more quick thing. How could I forget this? We have a little giveaway to do. Oh my gosh, how crazy that I should forget this. I was going through, making up the show notes, and went, I forgot that part. Okay, so Mina Philipp, the knitting expat, I'm sure you're all aware, has a new sock collection that there's a sock club actually that she's doing, and it's based on her experiences in New York. So she's given me a copy of the club, or a membership into the club, and she's giving me one away to give to you. So here's what you're going to do. If you want to enter, you head over to the Ravelry group, join the group if you're not already a member, and enter to win with the prompt of, what's your favorite sock pattern? Simple. I feel like we've done maybe this prompt before, but there's so many good sock patterns out there, and I'm really curious to see what you think. So enter. Give me a link or a name to a sock pattern that you like. Vanilla socks, if that's all you do, that's fine too. But tell me what's unique about, or different, or what do you like about your vanilla pattern. Anyway, the contest is opening today, March 5th, as soon as I get this uploaded to YouTube. And we'll close, let's make it the 15th. Let's just make it nice and easy. Because then I'm hoping to do on the 15th a little quick mini episode where I'm going to talk about the shawl winner from the Everybody Loves Pi KAL, and I'll announce the winner of the Sock Club membership as well. Okay, that's it. Back to making up the show notes. Talk to you soon. Bye. So that's it for this episode, gang. It's a bit of a shorter one, but that's good. I'm trying to keep them a little bit shorter. I love, catching up with podcasts when I have time, but my schedule has been so crazy. I have not had as much time to watch as I would have liked, but I do appreciate a shorter podcast now and again. Longer ones, sure, no problem, but then I always have to stop and restart. And anyway, feel free to leave comments. I can't guarantee that I will respond to everybody, but I will do my best as and when I find a few minutes to do that. Definitely join us in the Ravelry group if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram. That tends to be where I'm most active, particularly when I'm traveling. I try and share some photos and little video clips and stuff from where I've been, and the things that I'm working on, the things that I've been seeing and eating, and all that sort of fun stuff. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me, and happy knitting.
they don't have the information, right?
Again, we have the lowest bridge of the tour, so I'm gonna ask everyone to please remain seated and mind your heads. Thank you. So we're back now here in Newhound and the tour is finished for everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you on board. Me and the captain really hope you enjoyed the tour and we wish you a great evening here in Copenhagen. Thank you very much.